the engine roared to life, cutting through the stillness of the morning, it was the sound of freedom, the start of something bigger. Today wasn't just another trail ride. It was a deliberate escape, an escape from the grind, the endless noise, and the routine of the everyday life.
When I was headed up towards Pyramid Lake on our darkness adventure, which if you haven't checked out, check out below, I saw kind of a staging area and some mountains, and it looked like it might be a pretty cool place to go explore. So that was one place I wanted to go back to that really wasn't too far away, and today's the day. Only problem is, when I woke up, there was some surprise snow from the rain that we had last night. It turned to snow, and only about an inch, but everything's frozen, so it's pretty slick. We're gonna head out there and see what's up, but yeah, hopefully it'll still be a good day.
Out here on the desert trails, we weren't just driving, we were chasing something, a sense of peace, adventure, and the thrill of the unknown. This was our journey, our reset, and it was only just the beginning. Why do we do this? Why trade comfort for dust, cold, and uncertainty? Because life doesn't stop, it piles on. The year's end is relentless, deadlines to meet, demands to juggle, and the weight of it all growing heavier by the day. But out here, everything slows down. The desert doesn't care about emails or meetings. It offers a different kind of challenge, one that strips away the noise and reminds you of what truly matters. This wasn't just a trip. It was a chance to reconnect with the world and with myself.
Well, we made it to the trailhead, and fortunately, not seeing any snow out here. We'll see what it brings as if we get up into the mountain a little bit. But we're gonna get aired down and go check some stuff out, see what we can find.
The moment we hit the trail, it felt like stepping onto another planet. The Nevada desert is something else entirely. Vast, untamed, and otherworldly. Red earth stretched endlessly under the sky, so clear it felt like it went on forever. The terrain was rough and rugged, but stunningly beautiful. The rocks and the ridges, the empty silence, it felt like Mars, a place untouched and unforgiving. But there's beauty in that emptiness. A freedom in knowing you're somewhere so wild. Each mile we covered brought us deeper into the alien-like landscape and closer to the adventure we had set out to find. Then, something caught my eye, a rock formation so unique it demanded a closer look. I pulled off the main trail, parked the Jeep, and stepped into another world. Standing there, surrounded by these ancient formations, I couldn't help but feel a connection to the past. These rocks had been there long before us, shaped by time and weather into something extraordinary. They whispered from a world far older and wilder than our own. It was a moment that grounded me, reminded me of how small we are in the grand scheme of things. This wasn't just a rock, it was a piece of history waiting to be discovered. With the rocks behind me, it was time to get back on the trail. The desert was calling. The adventure wasn't over yet. The road ahead promised something bigger, a canyon rising in the distance, hinting at the views we were chasing. The closer we got, the more the trail began to challenge us. Rocks littered the path, the terrain grew rougher with every turn. But there was no turning back. The distant cliffs pulled us forward, teasing us with the promise of something epic. The Jeep took each challenge in stride, maneuvering through the increasingly technical terrain. Out here, the obstacles weren't just physical. They were part of the experience, shaping the journey as much as the destination. And then we reached it, a natural rock waterfall, surrounded by boulders that dwarfed even my 38-inch tires. It was a moment that demanded respect for the trail and the machine beneath me. The Jeep crawled over the rocks with precision, every moment calculated, every climb deliberate. It wasn't just about getting through, it was about mastering the moment. These obstacles weren't just in the way, they were the way. And with every boulder we cleared, we pushed further into the canyon, closer to what lay ahead. The trail wasn't letting up. Each section brought bigger rocks, steeper climbs, and narrower passages. This was where preparation met reality, where all the planning and caution comes into play. When you're out here alone, every decision matters. A wrong move could mean damage or worse, getting stranded in the middle of nowhere. But with careful navigation and trust in the Jeep, we pressed on, inching closer to the peak. climb felt endless, but the promise of what waited at the top kept me going. The road narrowed like a knife's edge, every turn revealing more of the trail behind us. But the higher we climbed, the more I could feel it. That sense of anticipation building. The air was colder, thinner, and the view was more expansive. The peak was close, and I knew the effort would be worth it. The final shelf road was unlike anything else, a narrow, precarious path that demanded focus and patience. Looking back, I could see the entire trail we'd climbed. Each twist and turn reminded me of how far we'd come. Ahead, the last climb awaited. The Jeep pressed forward, the engine steady, carrying me toward the moment we'd worked for. And as we reached the top, the reward unfolded before us. The view was everything I'd hoped for and more. The desert stretched out in every direction, endless and breathtaking. Clouds rolled across the horizon, softening the edges of the mountains, but the beauty was untouched. Standing there with the wind cutting through the cold air, I felt small, but in the best way. This wasn't just a view, it was a reminder of why we do this. To reconnect with nature, to push ourselves, to find moments that remind us we're alive. The climb down was quieter and more reflective. The adrenaline of the journey gave way to gratitude for the trail, the challenges, and the incredible experience we just had. Adventures like this aren't just ones about the views, they're about the journey, the obstacles we face, the lessons we learn, and the peace we find along the way. Today was a reminder of the importance of slowing down and reconnecting with the world around us. there's one thing this adventure taught me, it's that the best way to escape the daily grind is to embrace the unknown, take the road less traveled, disconnect from the noise, and find something that reignites your soul. Until next time, this is The Path to Rome.